Landscape restoration means that you're increasing the capacity of the land to sequester carbon, and by sequestering carbon, you're then able to have a greater impact on helping to address the climate challenge.
So it's not sustainability that we need, it's regeneration. We need to regenerate the atmosphere, we need to regenerate the soils, we need to regenerate forests and farms and natural areas.
Dendra Systems is an ecological restoration company formed by a global team of scientists, ecologists, and engineers to create the tools necessary for doing scalable restoration globally.
The people that are being tasked with restoring the natural world don't have the tools necessary to address the industrial scale degradation of landscapes.
Monitoring is important because allow to the stakeholders and the environmental managers to take decisions and understand the information of the site. If they don't have information, they cannot take the proper decision that they need to take in each step in the restoration process.
The conventional way of restoring land primarily involves people going out, manually planting trees, or using ground-based systems which have limited access. But the world is not uniform, it's not flat land everywhere. Those conventional methods, therefore, have limited application.
It's actually really slow if you compare the number of people that you have to have in the field for doing the traditional method.
You need to observe that landscape and understand what's naturally happening in that landscape. What kind of trees, plants and shrubs regenerate? What kind of animals make their homes there? You need to understand how it works.
Dendra Systems uses drones to capture data and enable us to access areas which otherwise wouldn't be able to be. The imagery is at the blade of grass or veins on a leaf on a tree resolution, which is significantly higher resolution than traditional datasets like satellite. We then feed that data into our AI algorithms. Those algorithms generate an assessment of how that land is performing, and then we use that assessment to drive interventions like weed control and tree planting.
We can capture 300 hectares a day with our drone in ultra-high resolution. If you compare the number of people that you have to put in the field just to obtain the same data, it could be taking weeks or months, and you need an army of people just doing these surveys.
The majority of Dendra's work is actually on monitoring. 80% is about capturing data, developing analytics, making recommendations so that we can get the best outcomes. 20% of what we do is on the actual automation of planting.
The drone can carry 700 kilograms and is approximately 400 million of seeds.
700 kilos is, I'm reliably told, the weight of 2 polar bears. So that gives you a sense of how many seeds we're spreading.
It's important that the drone carry different types of seeds because we encourage to plant biodiversity. We don't want to plant monocultures, so we are planting a whole full ecosystem.
In any typical seed mix that we spread, have about 50 different species, which enables us to restore not only tree species, but the shrubs and grasses, which are essential as well.
So the best forests are these forests that combine many different tree types and species of many different ages.
The benefits of having an international team stem from the fact that this is a global problem, which requires global perspectives. You actually have to have people with skill sets that vary from AI and software, all the way through to understanding the fungi in the soil, all the way through to having a deep understanding of how can we create scalable systems to address the challenge which is on a global scale.
There is a need for this technology because we are really good in destroying the ecosystem, but we don't go in the same velocity restoring that ecosystem. And this technology is so important to increase the velocity and the scalability to restore all the destruction that we have in the ecosystem.
Natural landscapes help to mitigate 30% of human carbon emissions. And if we continue on the rate of degradation today, where we're losing 10 million hectares a year, we're reducing the ability of the natural environment to absorb the impact of human carbon emissions. If we scale up our restoration, we scale up the potential for land to sequester carbon and to help address the climate challenge we face.
The right kind of forest is essential to the future of this planet. The wrong kind of forest, these large-scale monospecies plantations, the sooner we can transform them into something better, the better off the planet and humanity will be. Digital technologies have a foundational role to play.